At the start of my hike, I stayed at the Mellow Mountain Hostel in South Lake Tahoe. I was going to hike the Sierra Mountains south from Echo Lake, and I was lucky enough to meet up with my old buddy Edwin, whose trail name is Boomerang.
I've started again. It's September 6th, about 8 a.m. in California. I got dropped at the Echo Lake parking lot, and now I've been hiking for about 10 minutes up into this pine forest. It's really pretty. There were a lot of people at Echo Lake in the parking lot. Looked like they're getting ready to hike, so maybe I'll bump into a few of them along the way this morning. Coming to my first stream crossing. It looks like I'm going to have to take off my shoes. That log up there looks kind of slippery and not easy to get to, so I guess that's the way this one works right here. Okay, so I'm going to cross the South Fork of the American River, which they say is usually a small stream, but not today. Whoa, it's cold too. I'm looking for trout, but I haven't seen any. If Deb was here, she'd want to stay and fish for a while. Okay, first mile 189, and there's a lot of work that's been done here. Clearing the forest and piling up piles of brush. And the path has been perfect today. Very smooth. A lot of volunteers have worked to make this trail really nice. A lot of big rocks in this section coming out of Echo Lake. The trail is going up a really steep hill right now, so it's really been a little bit difficult to start. It's a very pretty alpine meadow at mile 1086. At about 9,000 feet of elevation. I'm now at about mile 1083, and just had lunch, and it's really a beautiful area here at about 9,000 feet. You can see the snow-covered peaks in the distance, a beautiful alpine valley. This is the first really open vista that I've had. I finished my first day at Carson Pass at about 4 o'clock. I was able to find a small tent spot near the road where I spent the night by myself in a nice little spot. This is the first section of the Kit Carson Land Management area. It's a very popular day hike area, and that's why the trails are really wide and very smooth. Real pretty wooded area so far. There's supposed to be a lot of ponds along the way where you need a permit to camp, just because they're fragile wilderness area, but it's supposed to be beautiful. This is the view at mile 1069. At 9,200 feet of elevation. I just got to the highest point that I was going to get to today, and you can see how beautiful it is. What is amazing is that the people that came through here in snow, they had to find this little trail which would have been covered with snow, totally snow above them, and then if they slipped and fell, they would have fallen down that on snow. No wonder you need crampons and an ice axe to get through here. Today is September 7th, and there's still snow on the trail. This is the first piece of snow that I've hit just off of Carson Pass. I don't have any micro spikes, but it's very hard, and as long as I take my time, it should not be an issue. It's amazing they got so much snow this last winter that it's still here in September. It goes all the way up to there and down to there. This is a stream crossing that I've got to do at mile 1065. Pretty easy. There's a lot of trees that cross the trail, but it's a nice running outlet from a lake above. So it's Saturday the 6th, and it's about 6 p.m. I just had dinner. I'm in my tent now. I did the 17.2 miles I had planned for today, but unfortunately it's a really windy evening, like about 30-mile-an-hour winds, and not a really well protected site. I'm getting all kinds of sand brought into my tent. I'm afraid it's going to be like the Sahara Desert in here tonight. So I hope the wind calms down. That would be great. So it's Sunday morning, about 6:30 in the morning. It's September 9th, I think. Maybe September 8th. But it was a bad night for me last night. Here's my campsite. You can see everything is tied down with rocks on all of my stakes because it's so windy here. The wind just came whipping right down that little valley right there, little cut right in the rocks. And the wind wasn't so bad. I was able to stay warm, but the dust, my whole tent is full of dirt, and everything I've got is filthy now. I've got to shake it all out, and it just made for a really long night listening to the wind. The tent's kind of loud that way, but hopefully the rest of the day will be better. Started off pretty good today on Sunday. Bad night last night with all the wind. Hard to sleep, but it's a nice looking morning. The sun's out. The terrain is really beautiful. So I think it's going to be a great path. Is kind of narrow today to start. It goes around all these rocks. You can see it cut in the side over there, but from the rocks it's a real steep drop down into the valley. This is a video of Upper Kinney Lake and mile 1050. It's Monday morning, September 9th. Just getting rolling about 6:30. Had a great tent site last night. No wind in this beautiful pine forest. Nobody else came. Pretty interesting too. There's a beautiful stream back here. I'll show it to you, and a lake. This is the back half of the campsite with a nice fire pit, lots of places to camp, and it overlooks this nice lake. And there's a great little stream here for fresh water. Just an ideal campsite. I talked to another hiker around here who said that there were about 200 heads of cattle around here, and I guess they're driving them from one meadow to another. Here's just a couple. I'm in mile 1032, and thank goodness the trail does not go up that rocky mountain. It goes around it. That would be terrible. It's at 8 o'clock in the morning on September 10th. I've been hiking for about an hour and a half. I'm just above 10,000 feet. There's a frost up here. There's ice on the ground. I had to stop and put on my puffy jacket. It's got to be in the 20s up here. I only have about another mile to the peak at about 10,500 feet. And then I'll be able to go down and it should get warmer again. Here's the view out over the Sierra. It's good that there's not a lot of wind right now, otherwise it'd be unbearable. And I finally reached the peak. I'm up at 10,500 feet, about to go down to the highway. Above me, you can see even taller peaks with snow. I'm really glad I don't have to go up there. And then when you look down into the valley where I came from, about 2,000 feet below is where I started. The trail's a little icy right here. See how everything is frozen this morning.